to me. Here's how I do it. So here you go, gold nugget, everybody. Put your recorders on.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking,
Tape it.
next thing I know, like two people, and I'm doing the training or whatever, and I see two people talking in the corner. I'm like, okay, we'll wait, just like your teachers would, right? And this is where I diverge really quick. I'm like, hey guys, I only see you a couple times a month for about an hour, and when I talk, I think I'm really fucking important. So you might want to listen to what I'm fucking telling you. And you know what? All ears are up. And by the way, we're still explicit.
Chris, do better.
Do better. And do better comes from my daughter. Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent up that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse to the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from achieving your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. So cheers. Let's get this sucker rolling.
Cheers. I think it's illegal to cheers with water, but cheers.
You do have a solo cup behind you.
We'll get her
Thank
solo
you.
cupped up in a minute.
Thank
She actually,
you.
she's off the wagon or on the wagon, on the wagon, but only willing to go. She did threaten earlier that she was going to make sure that she could have bourbon with us.
Yes.
So she's limiting her bourbon intake for many months just so she could have a little with us on this podcast.
I did. You're right.
Yes.
That is accurate. That's an accurate statement.
This is going to be a rocking episode.
Honored. Yes.
So we did talk about Heather Rogers coming on, and Heather's been a big friend of mine for a long time. We've talked quite a bit. She is not only a simply organized organizer here in Atlanta, she's also a speaker and, Alan, a fellow author. So I know you're going to feel a little intimidated here because you're with two best-selling authors.
You know, I'm feeling just a little out of place here, being the one who has not written a book.
Right.
So what are you waiting for?
Here's the good news, Alan. You have a podcast. And the only person in the world who doesn't have a podcast right now is some guy named Milton in Milton, Georgia.
There you go. Actually, Heather Rogers doesn't have a podcast.
Really?
I do not. I just like to go on them, other people's podcasts, make you do all the work.
I like it. That's good.
It's not work.
It really is not. I actually, I told Alan this week on Monday, it was February 28th, and we're dating ourselves a little bit. But in my head, I was like, oh, this is the last week of February, not the first week of March. And we've always been saying, hey, we're going to tape in the first week of March. And that's when we're taping this now.
Tape.
And
let's see how old he is.
I am old.
Can you believe that?
Reel to reel, 8-track.
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 And then I looked up and I'm like, oh, good. We're doing it this Thursday with Heather. And I got pumped up on a Monday.
Yeah, he was already excited on Monday.
Yay.
I am excited to have you come in with us.
Thank you for
chit-chat.
having me.
That's exciting. All right. We talked about her being a unicorn, which is born and raised in Atlanta. You don't find them much. And even more odd, you wouldn't have known it if you listened to her accent at all.
You know, Chris, you say that, but I'll bet you if she went up to New York, they'd peg her for a Southerner right away. We've just been down here long enough to where we don't hear it as much.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I lived in New York for a year and they called me Peach the whole time I lived there. So I think it's the y'all that gives me away. I've never been able to use any other term like you guys.
You can't use guys.
No, y'all is so wonderful, all encompassing.
I remember the first all y'all that came out of my mouth in a presentation. And I'm like, where did that come from? Because I wasn't trying. I was actually trying to avoid it.
Wow.
How about this? We grew up and y'all would be like, oh, those Southerners, oh, bless their hearts. They're so dumb. And now look at it. You say you guys, and I'm getting canceled. Yeah. Next thing you know, bang, Chris, you're not including everybody. You say y'all now, and now you include everybody.
See, we knew from the beginning, we've been inclusive forever. All of us Southerners.
See, all Southerners.
We're known for that.
Yeah. So I've been down in the South. I just ran into somebody. She said, do I detect an accent? I said, yeah, I've been accused of being from another country. And she says, so she started popping off Germany.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, no, actually more over here. She goes, oh, Minnesota. I'm like, well, okay, that's not another country. You're getting closer. So I said, I'm from Michigan. And she literally looks at me and says, no way. I'm from Dearborn, which isn't 45 minutes from my house, where my mom was born and raised as well.
Wow.
And she was saying, I'm the one who had the accent.
Did she have one as well?
She did not. She did not my accent. I know.
Interesting.
That's what I thought. I'm a big fan of the accent.
Where are you from, Alan?
Pacific Northwest. And so people think I sound like a Canadian.
Oh, well, you are a Canadian.
Kind of. We want to secede. British Columbia, Oregon, and Washington.
Can you believe he doesn't think Detroit's like the best place in the world? He thinks the Pacific Northwest is nicer. I'm like, no, man.
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest where we loved Canada and the Canadians loved us. And we went back and forth. And then I went to college in Michigan and all the Canadians hated us. And I'm like, why? So then I take a trip to Toronto, which is one of the coolest cities in the world. And then I come back across the Ambassador Bridge into Georgia and things are on fire and all the signs are missing. And I'm like, oh, no wonder the Canadians hate us.
Oh, yeah.
But Detroit's gotten way better.
It is way better, man. I'm telling
you.
In fact, it's so good that right now we're just kind of playing out our vacation schedule. And I've got a graduation, a communion, and a wedding all to go back to up in Michigan. And I was like, I looked at my wife and I said, is there any way we can just like combine a couple of them? I mean, that's 3 trips back to the.
So we got Aruba or Detroit. Is that what you're trying to? Well, we'll see how good your sales skills are, Chris.
How am I doing? Yeah. So no, actually, I got Cabo, Spain, and 3 trips to Michigan, all in the balance right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
lucky you.
Guess where we're going to be
going?
Her. Michigan. Yes, Michigan.
So I just booked a trip. Our big vacation this year is going to be to, drum roll, the Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
Yeah, I've never been. Always wanted to go.
We're
going to start in Oregon and make our way up to Washington. And we have this whole road trip planned. And my race car driver of a husband has already requested a specific rental car.
Oh boy.
Are you going to do the coast route?
I don't know. We will see, but our travel agent has already started working on it. It's very exciting.
Do you get car sick?
In August. I don't get car sick. I get afraid of death sick. Yeah. My husband is
gold nugget there. I'm afraid of death sick.
Is very, very excellent and yet speedy driver. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll go away. Because it's a 2-lane highway that just meanders up and down a very rugged coast.
Oh, and he needs his eyes fly off of the ledge.
Here, let me date myself again. I think after this podcast, you'll have to get with Alan, and maybe he can help you with your trip ticket.
Yes, that's a
trip ticket.
Oh, I like it.
That was my favorite.
Like it.
Right?
Every time you turn a page, you're like, oh, thank God, one more chunk of Kansas is gone.
Right. For us, it was from Michigan to Florida. Oh, good. One more chunk of, and then you get to Florida. You're like, yes, I'm there. Where do Grandma and Grandpa live? That's Fort Myers.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that's like 7 more hours.
Oh yeah, Florida is a big long state.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Tallahassee to Key West is the same distance as Tallahassee to Chicago.
Is it really?
Yes.
You know what?
Texas,
there's a gold nugget. See, people tune into this podcast and they're listening and they're just waiting for those gold nuggets. Mm-hmm. So now they have something they can put on their friends and go, you know what? Here's what I know. Tallahassee to Key West.
Our topic today has been geography
and travel.
The more you know.
Yeah.
So let's tie it together. What part of the world is more organized?
Oh, wow. Oh my God. I have no idea.
That was a really
I would say, well, here you go. Here's a
non sequitur, but it's a hard question.
Here's a pull it out of nowhere answer for you. Right. I would say in America, we're going to talk different countries. Yeah. I don't know if y'all know this. Number 1 most profitable franchise, storage units.
Yes.
In America. Okay. So that tells you we all have too much stuff. So I would say based upon that just being in the Western world, we are much less organized than the Easterners I've met in like China, Japan, Asia, because we have more space and more stuff to put in the space.
Well, here in the South, we just put our crap out in the front lawn. Oh my God. We don't need storage units.
Yard art.
All right. So yeah, I'm offended. I said, because the toilets I put in my front yard, I think are great planners. And the one car, I'm going to get it out of there eventually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How many letters have you gotten in
your mailbox? Retirement investment.
That's my retirement investment. Yeah. My 1995 Chevelle.
How many letters has the HOA put in Chris's mailbox?
All right. I'm going to give you, all right. You want to know? The over under is 4.2.
Oh my God. I thought it would be a lot more.
Well, that's letters about my house. Now, in
Oh.
my neighborhood, we also have our local cops in my neighborhood. So I'm in a very privileged community that loves to give me tickets for rolling through stop signs and speeding and taking out little kids.
Vigilant.
They are.
The only time I was at your house, you were discussing that. I think you had just received one.
As a matter of fact, I did. So in my defense, I didn't hit the kid. I hit the backpack.
How much does it cost?
As the bus was stopping?
How much does it cost to speed in your neighborhood?
$50. Oh,
he's joking, everybody. He's just joking.
I
He
never
didn't
would do
hit
that.
any children
I
or
did not.
backpacks.
I have not.
Don't write in your angry letters.
Right. Yeah. Please no more hate DMs about that. I've already gotten too many about my turkey fryer discussion we started the turkey fryer out back of the office here, and I had him set it up right by the wood so I could take some pictures. And then we posted it online. I got so much hate on that one. What are you doing? You could burn it down. Oh, I can't believe you're doing it by wood. Hey, DA, aka dumbass. That's what I got from one of them was, hey, dumbass. I'm like, okay, thank you. And I'm like, it was one of my most viral videos too.
Wow.
Awesome. I loved it though. Oh, I was eating it up. So
no one should ever complain about a turkey fryer.
I love those things.
Turkey ever.
Just make sure you thaw it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Gold nugget.
Another gold nugget.
Thaw your turkey
Never
first.
put a frozen turkey into a turkey fryer.
Nope. Never do that. I have learned the art of our turkey frying last year, though. I did it. We were practicing here in the back of the office, and then I nailed it over Thanksgiving. Did 2 of them the same day.
Once my family started making our turkeys that way, probably 10 years ago, we've never gone back.
Just don't get the good gravy.
Right.
You don't.
Right. That's true.
No, you don't get gravy.
My mom always bakes one just to make the gravy.
Yeah, there
that's
you
true.
go.
So that's what I did this year. Of course, I was feeding, I think it felt like I was feeding the entire state of Michigan, which was all at my house in North Carolina, aka my in-laws. We had 3 turkeys, and I did the same thing so I could do this the turkey gravy. But I had them going, man. We had a process going, and fried turkeys were better and juicier than the oven roasted.
They're so good.
I want to talk about organization.
Oh,
what?
Shit. Well, let's talk about this because organization is hard, and I admit it because I'm not very organized, as we can determine from the podcast and my thinking. Good news for everybody. I don't have a storage unit. I just have an office. So if you go out back, you'll see half of my house is here.
Yay.
I love being organized. I have to work at it.
Yeah.
And when I have a pretty well stocked shop, and you used to make fun of the people that outline their tools on the pegboard. I haven't gotten that far, but man, I actually really like it when I'm in a project and I know exactly where the tools are. So there's this element that, I like the organization, but then again, so I wouldn't call myself a hoarder, but I really like my stuff and don't want to get rid of it.
So let's go down that line for a minute.
Organized to you being a hoarder.
No. I said I like being organized.
Let's go down that wormhole for a little bit.
Okay.
Does anybody who is a hoarder go to you? Heather, I'm a hoarder. Or does everybody say, well, I'm not really a hoarder?
Okay. So statistically speaking, in the last 12 years of having this career, everyone who's told me they are a hoarder are in fact not. And then the people who are, in fact, have challenges with hoarding don't know it or admit to it. Yes, that is typically what I find.
Ellen, we're having a little counseling here, and we probably
need to have an intervention.
I think it's going to be an intervention because I've actually been to Ellen's shop. In the tools section is very organized. Now, the scrap wood and potential project section is an absolute hoarder's paradise.
Awesome.
Or is it just an excellent inventory?
Oh, okay. There you go. He's not a hoarder, Heather. The first step is admitting it.
So
I'm Ellen, and I have a problem. I have a red Solo cup in front of me.
This is a lot. This is a much longer conversation than what we have time for. But hoarding is actually now considered a mental disorder. It is in the books, and there are 7 levels to hoarding, and it's really
which is like the 7 levels of hell.
Yeah,
there's a nice parallel there.
It is a challenge that I wouldn't wish upon anyone.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that we designate everything in this country as a sickness. I've been in one hoarder house. there was something seriously wrong with these people. Really nice neighborhood. Yard was immaculate, boat, Corvette, everything. And then you walked in, the first room was like every entry you've been in Atlanta. And then beyond what the average person would see was shocking. I mean, rooms were so packed with stuff. There were just these little alleyways that you could barely get through.
So being in the home repair business, I have actually been in 2 houses just like that. There were literally trails.
Right.
Trails from one room to the other, and you could not go outside of those trails. And when you went in the kitchen, there was not 1 inch of countertop space available to do anything with.
Yeah.
And you sat there, and it is sad.
It's very sad, and you cannot just hire an organizer.
You'd have to charge by the pound
with that. You actually have to see a licensed psychiatrist to figure out what the actual issue is, because you can't just get rid of all the stuff. It'll just all come back. So you have to actually deal with the problem and the issue and solve that before an organizer can really help. But we do have a lot of organizers in our organization who specialize in working with hoarders, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I can only imagine. You actually gave me some great advice. My parents, they actually have just sold their house, got everything cleaned out. It only took 3 dumpsters and an estate sale, where one room in the estate sale was all Christmas stuff.
Wow.
And my mom was a Christmas freak.
Wow.
We had 7 trees used to put up. I saw some of the stuff on the tables. We never put any of that up. I don't even know where it came from. I'm like, Mom, where'd you get that stuff? Well, I don't know. It's so
in the attic,
it was hard.
Maybe.
But Heather's advice to me was the same thing, because I went up there and said, man, I'm just gonna start chucking. And she goes, nope, you can't do that because they're gonna resent you. And I remember my parents came down, they're on their way to Florida, and my dad had packed up the pantry to take to Florida. And he said, all the food's in the back of the car. You can leave it there. I'm taking it to Florida. So he went in, and I started looking down, and everything had expired like 5 years ago. So I just took it and put it right in my dumpster, right in my thing, and just threw it out. He gets to Florida. He goes, hey, did you know, Chris, what happened to my box? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, did you throw it away? I'm like, I don't remember. And when I went down there,
terrible.
Oh, it was bad. He did. He was pissed. He sat there and said, I can't believe you threw that out. That was perfectly good peanut butter. I'm like, Dad, that was peanut butter from 1984.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Expiration dates are just suggestions.
Whew. So you've worked with a lot of people. You've seen all these things, and I know we got to make light of it, but it's tough.
Seen a lot.
You've seen a lot. You've done a lot. How do you get in with these people and then start talking to them? Are you almost part therapist and then helping them through the organization? Tell us a little bit about how typical engagement, not hoarders worse, but.
So most of our clients are just busy working families that don't have any sort of major clinical challenges at all. They just don't have enough time, or they just don't want to do it because it is hard work, as Alan said. So yeah, most of our clients are just your standard, usually a 2-person family, but we work with, single dads and single moms of the world as well. And, they're just trying to get through it like the rest of us. And they wonder also how it got to that point or where the stuff came from. And, even me as an organizer, I always lived in these 1950s homes with no closets or storage. And then my husband and I moved to Cumming, and we have this big basement and it's full. And I don't know how that happened. It's just the 2 of us, and I'm a purger by nature. So how did all this stuff get here? So it happens to even those of us who do this as a profession. So
wow.
We are not perfect robots. We also have the same challenges, but so most people call me when they are going through a major life change.
All right. So what is the major life change that typically drives it?
Getting married, getting divorced, having babies, moving, or loss of a loved one.
All traumatic events. So you're definitely counselor first, right?
Especially the marriage. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It is. And of course I am
we don't have enough time on this podcast.
I'm not a counselor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but there is a lot of emotion that goes into this because we're inside people's personal homes and spaces. And so a lot of times I meet somebody and within 5 minutes, I'm in their underwear drawer. So there's a lot of trust real quick. I mean, it's
How about
like,
that for trust?
It's like, hey, nice to meet you. Now let me see your nightstand. So
How often do you get it where you're like, okay, this can go, and one of them says, yeah, that needs to go, and the other one says, no, that's my favorite?
Every single day of my life, because, and I'm so glad you brought this up, almost every couple has one of each personality type, and that makes for a great balanced marriage until you need to get rid of stuff. So one person is usually a saver, usually a type B personality, if
Really?
you'd like to know my opinion. And the type A, like me, we're usually the purgers. We're like, let it go. Not a whole lot of emotional attachment to stuff because we need to control it and it can't get out of control.
I know we have an obligation to our audience to make sure that I'm talking to them, but I feel like this is a great opportunity for Alan to talk a little bit more about himself.
So when my wife is very organized, she's an accountant. And when we met, I noticed that she would make a pot of coffee in the morning and then clean the pot and put it back in the original manufacturer's box and put it under the counter. I, on the other hand, forget that I own things as soon as they go behind it. Look at that look on Chris's face. Yes.
I know we're in audio. I'm in absolute.
I want
shock.
And I love to cook. I want all my tools out. I want all the appliances on the counter. I want all the knives.
Yep.
Everything out where I can see them. So we have a little bit of a.
Go ahead, Alan. You can say it.
We complement each other well.
So that's why Heather's here. Really, is this is to help you.
See, she is a therapist.
She is. Literally, she is. She
in
keeps
my
saying
book,
she's not, but she really is.
In my book, I talk about the marriage that they claim I saved their marriage. One of my clients, to this day, credits me for saving her marriage because I was the compromise referee who could come in because. And you're a
mediator.
I am a mediator, but it's also, this is for anybody. It's really hard to work with your own family members, no matter what you're doing, even if you're just like doing a project or something. I mean, my God, I tried to refinish the deck with my husband and we almost got a divorce over it, but only because he does everything correctly and I just want it done.
Very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you and your wife, Alan, are very, very, very common. That is what I see all the time. And you just have to appreciate and be grateful for all of the ways that works and helps your marriage in the other parts of your life. And then really, really try to like forgive and take deep breaths when she sees your stuff all over the place. Because my husband's like that too. It has a name. It's called being a visual organizer. So
that's
Alan,
exactly what I am.
Guess what?
I'm a visual organizer.
Guess what? You can go home and tell your wife she's going to call me and cuss me out. So visual organizers. I also laugh at the word organizer in this term. They have to see everything or it is non-existent. If it goes in a drawer, if it goes in a bin, it doesn't matter if it's a clear bin that's labeled, it is as good as gone.
No.
All right. Visual organizer.
It's organized. It
doesn't
clean.
mean I'm
I clean
giving
the
you
kitchen.
a pass. I'm not giving you a pass, Alan. I'm just saying
I did have to say, come on, you do drink coffee every day. I like coffee throughout the day. Yeah.
Girlfriend, come on. And it's the same coffee going in. So there's another question, and this is going to sound gross, but why do I have to clean the coffee pot out?
No, because you season it.
Right. It's seasoned.
Are you also someone who doesn't make your bed every day?
I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah. That's usually the reason is people are like, well, I'm just going to get right back into it. Why would I make it?
You know, there's a great thing out there. It's I should have known this before I popped into it, but he talked about, it was a commencement speech at University of Texas.
It's called Make Your Bed.
That was a good one.
It's really good.
Oh, he wrote a book too, did he?
Really good.
He did. Oh, sorry, Alan. You're not.
He's a sergeant or a general of the SEALs, right? The Navy SEALs.
I tell you, I watch that every time I'm done. I'm like, that is,
I'm making my bed.
The best commencement speech. And I do the same thing. I'm like, I'm going to make my bed. And then I went, No, I'm not.
So I've actually given that book to my nieces and nephews, and I want y'all, if those audience members out there who have not done this, this is not a book about making your bed. Please read this book. Know that it will take you maybe an hour to read the whole thing. It's very short, which I love, and it has some of the best, most usable,
I agree,
motivational, inspirational, easy to do things in it, like making your bed.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Make Your Bed.
That's the name of the book.
But it's not that.
Yeah,
it's called Make Your Bed.
It is phenomenal. But again, go back to it.
Really good.
I get charged up. I've watched that commencement speech, I don't know, at least a dozen times.
He's awesome. He talks about teamwork and not quitting. And I mean, there's so many great things.
The ones I remember, he always had a slogan and then a backstory. And the one was, every once in a while, you have to be a sugar cookie. And what he's talking about is in the SEALs, they would have to go out there, and they were training in San Diego, and the water is very cold. And they would make them stay out there and swim, and they would have sand all over them, and they'd be sugar cookies. And every once in a while, you have to be a sugar cookie, and you're going to have to just get through it. And it feels like that's like every day in my business.
Yeah, he says it a lot. Cookie. He says it a lot better than Chris just did. But read the book. I wish I would have written a book that good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not agreeing. I'm not agreeing that your book is that bad. I agree that I wish I would have written a book.
I haven't read your book yet.
It's okay. That's all right.
You have an autographed copy for me?
I did not bring one with me today, but I'll get you one.
Okay.
It's awesome.
I'll read it, and then I'll secretly write down which one I like better.
It's called A Simplified Life.
So let's talk about this one.
Yes.
Let's talk about organizing.
Okay.
No. Has anybody, after you're done helping them clean and get organized, come to you and went, "Oh my God, that was the worst thing ever, and I hate this, and I'm so organized"?
Never.
Or does everybody go, "Oh, thank God, that's such a relief. I feel like this burden's been lifted off my shoulders"?
I think the hardest part of my job, because I am the marketing and sales division of my company, is trying to explain a feeling or put a value or a price on a feeling. So we get described every day as angels and magicians and miracle workers, and people always feel lighter, freer, healthier, happier. They have more energy. The things that they describe to me, it's very, very difficult to put that into a flyer.
Is it a one and done thing, or do you have to go back like
totally depends on the client. So half of what we do at Simply Organized is packing and unpacking for people's moves. That's usually a one and done thing unless they're moving again. But we do have maintenance clients who like us to come back on a regular basis, whether it's monthly or quarterly or every 6 months, and just kind of tidy, redo, or if a system's not working that we put into place, we always say, "Hey, what's working? What's not working? How can we tweak it? How can we make it work better for you?" So a lot of our clients we do get to see again, which is wonderful because we love to see the finished product.
So you also do time organization, and since this is a business podcast,
yes.
Did you start with the personal organization and then rolled into the time management piece, or tell me how that all came about?
Yes. So I don't know if this is true for y'all, but I have found you guys.
We're inclusive.
I'm not really sure if this is true for you guys out there, but for me, I've noticed, I don't know my strengths until many, many, many years after they've been kind of put into place, and someone might remark on something like, "Oh, wow, you're a really good public speaker." And, most people are afraid of public speaking. I had no idea that was such a huge fear. So I was like, "Ooh, I need to make sure I keep doing that because I love doing it. I'm not afraid to do it. So I need to do that." So it's the same thing with time management. So I didn't realize that I had kind of this, toolbox, if you will.
Is it a trusted one?
It is a trusted toolbox at my disposal. And I found that I used to be in medical sales and payroll sales. And so I worked with a lot of physicians and dentists and CPAs and different business owners over the years that owning a business wasn't their strength, right? I mean, you don't go to medical school to learn how to operate a doctor's practice.
A major flaw in our educational system, but that's another podcast.
Right. So I found,
writing that down. Thank you, Ellen.
Right. I found, I can really help these doctors' offices and their staff and help them so much more with organization and time management, and they can thrive and save so much more time and really work with their strengths, and this is not a dig on doctors. I am not insulting them by any, they are not supposed to be good at paperwork.
They suck at it.
Managing a staff. They're supposed to be good with patients. And that's what we want them to be doing. Right. So, I did an online course and turned it into a webinar about time management and 6 different tools. And I really kind of got it down to what I believe are the most important time management tools.
I think I saw that list. Say no is one of them.
Yes, just say no.
It's really hard.
It's
very hard.
Really hard. And I'm glad to hear men say that, because typically I only hear from women, and especially Southern women, in that we were raised for people to like us. And if you say no, they won't like us. Right. And so it's really, really challenging. And we're getting pulled in about 1 million different directions. And so when you're asked to be the president of the PTA and of the HOA and do the carpool and cook and run your business and this and this and this, it's really, really hard to do. It's impossible to do all of that. And so at some point you have to say no.
Well, and I think when you're starting a business, you don't want to say no, because all your yeses might lead to business, right?
Well, that's the problem in the beginning, right?
Yeah,
you'll do anything to anybody at any time when you start your business.
Right.
We're talking about business, right?
Well,
yeah,
in the beginning,
and for any price. And I think we
well,
I
didn't sell myself out very well either.
Well, we really
cheap.
I was a free on the corner.
Most business owners, and especially in the organizing field, we really undervalue our services and our time. And it's harder to sell a service, and especially when it's your own business. And so I was used to selling products and other people's services, and I had no problem with that. But when it came to, my own, it's really hard to figure out what's my value, what's my worth. And so this whole saying no thing, I treat it as like this game that I can win every single day. And I kind of pride myself on how many times can I say no and still have all of these people still want to be around me, still want to give me business, still want to, it's not an insult. It's actually worse if you say yes and then you don't do what you set out to do.
When you're trying to be a pleaser to everybody, you'll absolutely please nobody.
100%.
Well, and Chris, you know this. I mean, we met networking, and next thing you know, you're in the business association. Next thing you know, you're on the board. Then you're on the board of the chamber. And then for me, I was on the board of the local art center. And then I was on the board of the local refugee employment organization.
Wow.
And I got to the point, well, it was really flattering, and I felt like I could contribute, and I always felt like it might help my business.
Right.
And then eventually I just did a horrible job on all of them. And so you had to ultimately say, no, I did. I mean, you just can't.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He was very good with the Johns Creek business.
That I was good at that was just it.
Well, that's a good point.
And,
Point,
so we
actually.
can segue into multitasking, because my definition of multitasking is just doing a lot of things at the same time poorly.
That is
and
correct.
So, and I get to the point now where it so bothers me that if I'm talking to somebody and then they keep looking at their phone, I just stop my sentence. And they're like, no, you can keep going. I just need to do this. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll just wait for you to be done.
Same thing.
Wow,
love that.
that's so nice of you.
I do that to you all the time, Chris. Do you notice?
I do, because he's done that.
Because the rest of the time it's like wah 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 wah, and you may kind of know one word of the sentence I just said, but
so he does do this to me. So you guys do it so much nicer than me. Here's how I do it. So here you go, gold nugget, everybody. Put your recorders on.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking,
Tape it.
Next thing I know, like 2 people, and I'm doing the training or whatever, and I see 2 people talking in the corner. I'm like, okay, we'll wait, just like your teachers would, right? And this is where I diverge really quick. I'm like, hey guys, I only see you a couple times a month for about an hour, and when I talk, I think I'm really fucking important. So you might want to listen to what I'm fucking telling you. And you know what? All ears are up. And by the way, we're still explicit.
Chris, do better.
do better. And do better comes from my daughter.
Language, Chris. Language. My goodness.
But I would tell you,
We have another daughter
everybody's-
do better story. As a matter of fact,
we do have another one. But I would tell you, when I do that, guess who? All eyes on me. That's right.
yeah.
So our entire culture right now, and again, this is a whole nother podcast, but the whole like looking at your phone every 5 seconds thing. And I find myself doing it too. It drives me crazy. It's an addiction. I mean, they've made it addictive on purpose.
Yeah.
So
What's your phone say, Chris?
It
Really
says something
tough.
about the Russian-Ukrainian breakout. But yes,
So
you're
can
right.
we talk about multitasking?
Yes,
This is a passion
please.
of mine.
All
I know
right.
it probably
Here we go.
sounds like Ed just edited us because I just came out of nowhere with that, but he did not. I'm just okay. So multitasking. So I used to think women especially were really good at multitasking. And then I realized that's totally not true at all. It's a urban myth. No one is good at multitasking. But if you are one of these people who has to be doing more than one thing at a time, I recommend one physical and one mental. And I'm going to give you examples. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I can't
You
wait.
can fold laundry and talk on the phone.
Okay.
You cannot email and talk on the phone.
No.
Don't
Well.
do it. Don't do it. No, don't do it. Don't email and do anything else.
No
while you're
TikTok,
emailing.
Chris. No TikTok.
No,
Hands down.
Can I TikTok and
Yeah.
email at the same time?
no, no
Oh my
TikToking.
God.
Now you can TikTok and fold laundry. You can unload the dishwasher.
You could
You
TikTok about
can-
folding laundry.
You know what? We're not leaving without TikToking this one.
Oh
Yo,
Lord.
I'm getting you in there.
I feel like I'm 12, but yes. So
Wow.
multitasking. I also
Welcome to my mental
love.
state.
Here's
You just
wait.
got a promotion.
Ready for another golden nugget?
Yeah.
When you're filling up your tank with gas and your car is parked, this is a perfect time to get all the trash out of your car.
Mm.
I do the
This
same.
also, if you're sitting there forever trying to fill up your gas tank like me, this is a good time to go through your emails. Delete some emails or delete some photos off of your phone.
So how do you advise somebody who knows in our society the consumer or people in business expect a much quicker response because they know you're connected 24/7?
And this is driving me crazy right now too. So I am just now at 47 years old learning boundaries.
Really?
I've been really, really bad at this, y'all. And it's my goal. 2022 is the year of self-care for Heather Rogers for me. So I am now turning my phone off at 7 p.m. every single night. And I finally figured out how to put the do not disturb onto my iPhone and I can now type something in there so people can get a message. And when I went on vacation last week, I said, I'm out of the office. Please contact, my manager, and gave her number. And I did that on email and phone and my voicemail, but it's very hard for me. And I don't like it. I don't like getting all those emails on my phone. And I don't like the expectation that I should have to get back to people very quickly because I value other people's time the way I would want them to value mine. And I do try to get back to them quickly and sometimes too quickly. And my team has told me, like, just because somebody contacts you on a Sunday doesn't mean you have to contact them back. I think
It's just when they were thinking about it and they shot you a note. But some people do expect you to respond.
They do.
Mhm.
That's one where I feel like I've done a pretty good job with it. So I'll tell you what I've done is
You look at everything all the time at the same time. You do.
24/7.
well, I am. She said that you can't multitask, but I'm different. I do it now. Oh,
You're
yeah,
kind of a
actually-
big deal.
And I don't know if you guys knew
He can
this, but,
text and drive.
I've proven that one many times over. But no, I tell you, the big thing I did is on my cell phone specifically. Cell phone is how I ran my business to start with. But then I obviously had an office line. It says, if this is Trusted Toolbox Business, please call this number. And if anybody leaves me a message saying, hey, this is Trusted Toolbox Business, but I'm just going to leave you the message anyway, I purposely wait till the next day to get back to them.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, you didn't follow. You didn't. I set a
Bad dog.
boundary. And
Mhm.
you know what? I'm going to rub your nose in a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I can do that after 14 years in business and having 14,000 clients and having all these people who
And you
can
wrote a
help me.
book.
I don't know. Alan, I don't want to keep bringing that up, but man, not just a book, but like a bestseller. Huh? Anyway, no. So I've done that before.
According to whom?
Me, because I've sold at least 55 copies.
New York
I actually
Times.
57 now. Just looked.
Woohoo.
But you're right with the boundaries, because once you let them in and you answer that at 3:00 in the morning, hypothetically, of course, and then they respond at 4 a.m. and then you respond back at 5 a.m. Again, hypothetically, I'm just going around this
as an example.
They expect you to do the same thing, and they expect you to be at their house at 7 a.m. fixing whatever they're talking about. You're like, no, wait, whoa, back this truck up. In your business, you didn't do that. And then when I've ever heard somebody say, oh, well, in my business, I'm always responsive. I'm like, no, I've actually done so many different things. I've done bank mergers with incredible dollar amounts. I have done my own business. You know what? You weren't, because I've never seen anybody work like that.
Right.
So,
well, I get a lot of business from real estate agents, and y'all know their hours are crazy, right? So they're always working, it seems like, and it's not rare at all for them to reach out late at night or on a weekend or on a holiday. I mean, I've had them work on Christmas before. So I really have to set those boundaries and say, I respect the fact that, you're in a huge hurry, and I appreciate that. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, I just had to stop.
That's why I'm in commercial real estate, not residential.
It was making me crazy. It really was. I'm not kidding. I was in the hospital last year, and they attribute that to stress and worry. And so I have been giving everyone else all of this good advice my whole life. Put your own oxygen mask on first and all that other stuff, but I hadn't been taking it.
Yeah.
So I'm finally taking it, and I'm not perfect at it yet, but I'm learning. And it's, I'm not a surgeon. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not a police officer. If you have an emergency, you need to call 911. You do not need to call a professional organizer, because there is no such thing as a professional organizing emergency. There just isn't.
It's just not happening.
There is no fire that I can put out.
What if my wife starts putting the coffee pot back in the box? I think that's an emergency.
I do too.
I think it's
that is
that one. I can have the secret bat line for that.
Extreme. Okay. I can work on some compromise with you on that one.
I would tell you, here's the reason, you as a business owner, because I know, Heather, you've grown to a pretty good size now too. The reason we can't respond that quickly is because now the expectation's been set. And when our team doesn't follow the same expectation, they have now failed. They have now unsucceeded.
Right.
So to set your team up for success, that's I talk about not answering those now, but if you think about it, a consistent cadence, if you will, is okay. So if somebody emails you on Sunday because they're thinking about it, they're at home and they're looking at their house or thinking about this, they then get a response on Monday. Now they start to reset their cadence, going, okay, it's Monday. And now on Tuesday, her team will set up a time for them to come out. And on the time that we all agree is a mutual time that we can all meet, I will accept.
Right.
But if you responded on Sunday and then your team didn't call on Monday, what are they doing on Monday night? They're pissed because, well, wait a minute, Heather responded at 4:00 on Sunday and her team never got back to us on Monday. Well, they suck. No, they don't. So that's another reason I actually put this in and do that, because if you don't set that cadence, you can't set your team up for success and ultimately get yourself out of that stress.
Well, and I think that I've learned so much from my team by them setting their own boundaries, because this isn't their business. This isn't their baby the way that it is mine. And so I'm learning from them that it's okay to not get back to somebody on us.
So what are your interviews like when you hire somebody? Do you put a big mess in front of them and make them organize it?
It's just a room full of teeny tiny kids' toys.
Awesome. I love that. So, hi, what's your name? What do you do?
Really funny. What a great question.
That'd be hilarious. You just take 2 buckets of stuff and just throw it all over the room
and see if they go, oh my God, I can't stand it. I've got to clean.
I think
you're hired.
Excellent suggestion. I think this is how I'm going to start doing job interviews.
That's called the stress room interview. I love that one. You're right.
No. So the first thing that came to mind when you asked me that is that every day, just about, somebody says, oh, I should come work for you. I'm so OCD, or I'm such a perfectionist. And I'm like, well, actually, this job would drive you crazy because we can only do what our clients will let us. You're never going to leave a client's home and have it be perfect. So you as a perfectionist might have a difficult time doing this for other people because they're never going to make it the way you want it. And we have to be respectful of what they need from us, right? Which is not perfection, because I don't believe it exists. I honestly, in my book, I call that the rainbow unicorn. is
Rainbow
perfection.
unicorn.
The rainbow unicorn. It does not exist. Stop trying to be perfect, everybody. You are not an HG TV show.
Unicorn's not enough. It has to be a rainbow.
Right?
Rainbow
I know
unicorn crest.
She adds another. That's a great adjective.
Mhm.
Another
You could use it
level.
like that. I know she's on a totally different level.
I'm on a whole nother level, guys. But yeah, so I love that idea. I'm going to do all my job interviews that way now. I'm just going to throw out a bunch of stuff and
throw shit all across the
give
room
them
and go,
some clear bins and a
what do you
label
think
maker.
of that? Right? I just fold your arms and go, yeah. What do you think of that?
I can't function.
All right, you're hired.
Again, it is kind of a weird thing, right? Because how do you know if somebody's going to be good at it? You know, I mean, we have kind of a group of people that we know tend to be better at it than others, but you know, most moms are pretty good at it. Yeah. And I'm not a mom, but you know, I find that most moms are pretty good at it. And it's a lot easier to do it for somebody else, by the way, than it is for yourself. So
I could see that because everything's a personal connection. When I went to help my parents clean out the house, and I would bring in things one at a time, and one would say yes and one would say no. And then, so we had a pile of TBD. I did TBD.
Oh no!
I did St. Vinny's for St. Vincent de Paul. You know, that's gone.
Nice.
We finally got rid of something.
Nice.
And keep. And the TBD pile started to be twice the size of everything else. And I'm like, guys, we just can't keep doing this.
Oh, Chris, you should have called me. Never give them a TBD option. That's not an option.
Yeah. There's a reason I'm not an organizer.
No, but that was really wonderful
painful
that you did that, because so many of our clients, their adult children, are nowhere to be found when it comes time for them to have a big move or a big downsize, which is why they're hiring us, and we're happy to help them. But it was really lovely of you to help your parents.
Yeah, it's very tough. I mean, going back to of course, we've established you have to be a counselor. You are a therapist, and you're helping people basically get rid of something that they have a personal attachment to. Mm-hmm. Because we all love the spatula that we burn too much in the cast iron pot, but it's still all crudded up, but you're still using it, even though you're dropping little pieces of plastic in your eggs. Mm. Again, hypothetically.
You remember in the corporate moves that used to do, the company would put a colored sticker on it.
All right, let's talk company moves. So we did one. The last move we did, we moved from Charlotte to Atlanta, right? They come in. I am traveling my absolute ass off. I am not even close to home, right? I haven't been home for years. And I'm out. And so in they come, they're coming to move us. And we start unpacking stuff here in Atlanta. They packed our garbage. They took all 4 telephone books from Charlotte. Those were there too. And I'm like, what in the hell are we packing, boys? Okay.
Can I do a public service announcement? If you need a corporate move done, please call Simply Organized.
I think
please don't call the big national moving companies. We have unpacked many of those, and a lot of them, they number the boxes because they get paid for each box. And that's why you find 300 sheets of packing paper and 1 spatula in each box. It is a huge waste of money, and professional organizers are much better at packing and unpacking.
So my friend said, if I ever go in my basement now and I find a box that has 3 different colored stickers on it, I throw it out. I don't even open it. Because obviously I never looked at it.
I just got done doing that purge. So we moved here in 2001. It's 2022. During COVID, I went down to this one. Thank God my wife is the purger and I am the saver and the hoarder. But we have one room that we allow Chris to hoard in. And I went in there, and sure enough, we had a glass top to a table that we've never used for 20 years, all wrapped up with the sticker on it. Mm-hmm. And I went, and it was broken. I'm like, yeah, I think we're done now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Way to be disciplined, Chris.
I did it finally. It just took me 20 years. Heather, you've been dropping it, and it's been awesome. But unfortunately, we're coming a little bit to the end of our time. So we would like to hear a little bit more about 3 questions we have to ask everybody. And so the first question I got for you is, what is your favorite feature of your house?
Oh, that's so hard. Our 90-foot covered deck.
90 feet of covered deck
that overlooks our pool.
All I keep thinking is maintenance.
That's all it is maintenance. You will be getting a call from me soon.
Do you have nice little organized storage bins for the cushions and things like that?
We cover them in plastic during pollen season. We have finally stopped fighting that battle.
Solid. Well done. Because if you don't know pollen season in the South, that sucker it's coming soon because I can feel it.
It's a good 2 months now. I used to bring them all inside. I don't have room for them anymore. No. Yeah.
All right. Next one.
A hoarder.
Yes. Of outdoor seat cushions.
Oh, we just found our 1 week. It's outdoor seat cushions hoarding. There you go.
I have others. Linens is my issue.
All right. What is your customer service pet peeve?
When people say that they are going to show up and they don't.
So they set an expectation that I'm actually going to show up and then they whiff, and you've just wasted your time, and you said yes. And they told you should have said no.
I had an estate sale company I was interviewing in Texas for my mother-in-law when we were moving her tell me, "Oh, I don't keep a calendar." That was her excuse when she did not show up to our scheduled appointment.
So I think that's a lack of success.
Or as you would say, unsuccess.
That's unsuccess.
You want to make sure you have not unsuccess.
Just right. In case you're wondering.
Unsuccess. I want all those negatives in there.
The first step in time management. Calendar. Right. Keep a calendar.
I am dumbfounded that was her answer.
Right.
Straight face.
I'm telling you, I have never been more shocked and appalled at someone's honesty.
This is where you just want to go, I see stupid people. All right. Number 3. What is a DIY nightmare story that you've had? Because we've had some zingers on the podcast.
So when my husband and I were still just dating, it's shocking we got married after this. I wanted to take up all the pea gravel in the front yard and put in paving stones. And this was the first project we had ever tried to do together. And I don't think we spoke for a week after he found out that I am a just get it done, easy, quick person. And he is a very much get it done right, detailed. It's going to take 2 weeks person.
Oh boy.
By the way, he is correct.
Oh boy.
I am so glad. So now
it is official. One man was correct.
He is correct. And now he does all of the projects on his own because I don't want to be a hindrance to his success.
Wow. That's a gold nugget right there. I think I'm actually going to clip that one and bring that one home. So, hey, babe, here's what I want you to listen to overnight, all night long. I'm going to keep it whisper. I don't want to be a hindrance to your success. So, Heather, this has been awesome. How can people find you, reach you? Give us the deets. What do you want to do? What do you want to push? Let's go.
All right. Website is simply organized you spelled YOU.com. Phone number 404-825-2105, and follow us on all of the social media outlets, except we're not on TikTok yet. Have a feeling after today, we're going to be on TikTok.
Look for Simply Organized on TikTok soon, because it's coming. She doesn't know it. She's not ready for it yet, but we're TikToking right after this is over. Heather, thanks so much. We had a great time. Adventure Team, go make it a great day. But before I do that, Heather, would you be willing to come on with us maybe one more time? Because I know you said no, but look at us. Look at us in the eyes. Look at
you know what? I am going to
look at those eyes from Alan. That's so cute.
Those are some puppy dog eyes Alan has, by the way, for
awesome.
You listeners out there. I wish we had this on video. I am going to make time for you guys.
She did not say no.
Yes. All right, everybody.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have Heather back in a couple more episodes. We'll see. All right. Go make it a great day, everybody, and keep climbing that ladder of success. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Don't forget to go out and rate, review, and follow me. And if you like this episode, go out and check out my other episodes, or check out my Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn for other great content. And remember, your positive attitude will help you achieve your higher altitude in the wild world of small business ownership. Until next time, make it a great day, Adventure Team.